Okay, guys, I'm going to run through this page by page, your midterm review. Let's start with the first one. This is a quadratic and standard form, and we want to get the equation in vertex form. So this is where we're going to use completing the square. So you're going to put parentheses around the first two pieces only, and we're going to factor out the negative that's out in front. So anytime there's a coefficient, you want to factor that out. So I'm going to bring the work down here. F of x equals negative x squared minus 6x plus 1. And now I'm going to factor out the negative. So I'm going to have negative. Now when you factor out a negative, the sign changes on the inside. All right, now we're going to do completing the square. You're going to chop 6 in half, which is 3, and then square it, which is 9. So now I have negative x squared plus 6x plus 9. Bring down the plus 1. Now this is the important part. This negative affects that 9. So if I do negative times 9, I get negative 9. So to balance this equation out, I'm going to add 9 to the end. So now this becomes negative x plus 3 squared plus 10. Don't put anything there. Okay. So now that's the answer for part A. So now this is vertex form. That's the answer to part A. Part B wants the vertex, and that's going to be negative 3, positive 10. That's the vertex. All right, part C. The x-intercepts, that's another way of saying what's the zeros of the function. So what we want to do is set the original equation, or even this one, maybe I'll use this one, set that equal to 0. 10. Subtract the 10 over to the other side. Divide by a negative. Take the square root of both sides. Now, when I take the square root of both sides, this is going to be plus minus 10. So now I'm going to bring the work up here. So now I have x plus 3 equals plus minus radical 10. Subtract the 3 over to the other side. So my x-intercepts are going to be negative 3 plus radical 10, 0, and negative 3 minus radical 10, 0. All right, D. The y-intercept is when you plug in 0 for x, minus 6 times 0 plus 1. So we end up with 1. So the y-intercept is the point 0, 1. All right, 6. Max or min value. Well, that's a negative parabola, so that means it's going to be concave down. So maximum. Which also answers F. Concave down because A is less than 0. G. All right. The domain and the range. The domain, since it's a parabola, is all real numbers. Right? This one here, it says the maximum here is going to be our vertex point. So you can actually put negative 310 right there. And that's going to help us with the range. Because if this is our maximum, the highest y value goes up to is 10. So the range is going to be from negative infinity to 10. Because the highest y value we reach is 10, that's our maximum, and then it's a sad-faced parabola, so it's going down forever. And now graph it. Now you could have done the domain and range after you graphed it, which might have made things a little bit easier for you. But let's take a look at this. I know that the maximum is negative 310. So 1, 2, 3. Nope, it's a negative 310. 1, 2, 3. Positive 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is 10 right here. So negative 310 here, that's my maximum. We also know we're crossing the y-axis. The y-intercept is 0, 1. That's right here. And we're crossing the x-axis at negative 3 plus radical 10, negative 3 minus radical 10. Now, radical 10 is a little bigger than radical 9. Radical 9 would be like 3, right? So this is about 3.1. So negative 3 plus 3.1 is about 0.1. So it's about there. And this would be negative 3 minus 3.1, so about negative 6.1. 4, 5, 6, about there. And here is our picture. Okay, and that is the first question. A little bit of everything. All right, now the next question on the first page is this lovely exponential function. What you want to keep in mind for this one, I don't know if you can see it, I'll get a little closer. All right, is everything inside the parenthesis gets that 2/5. So I'm going to start off with, we're going to have 32 to the 2/5. Then we're going to have x to the 5th to the 2/5. So over here I'm going to do 5 over 1 times 2/5. 5's canceled, this becomes x squared. Then I'm going to bring down the y. That's negative 3 over 2. You're going to multiply that by 2/5. 2's cancel again. This becomes negative 3/5. Okay, now let's do the denominator. We have a 2x. So everything, just like this one, everything in here gets this exponent. So x 5/3 times 3/5, that all cancels, so it's x to the 1st. Now we're going to do y. That's 2/3 times 3/5. So that's 2/5. Okay, now I'm going to bring it over here. Now, the 5th root of 32 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So the 32 becomes a 4. I'm just going to copy the rest of the top down. I'm going to clean up the bottom a little bit. We can combine these, and that makes 2x squared y to the 2/5. Now I'm going to start simplifying. Ooh, the x squares can go. The 2 knocks off the 4, makes it a 2. So now we have a 2 left over on top, a y to the negative 3/5, and a y to the 2/5. All right, now there's two ways of handling this. You can subtract the exponents, or we can say, hey, this guy doesn't like being here, so we're going to move him down to the denominator. So that becomes 2. These 3/5 join the 2/5, so 2/5 with 3/5 joining is 5/5, which is 1. So that means we have y to the 1st in the denominator. So that's the first page. And hopefully you can watch that a couple of times and get those questions right on your midterm tomorrow.